Okay, this one's to cover table C2 in regards to how some of the load group points work, how the columns work and all that. Had a few complaints about the quality of my videos. Well, you're only in here to listen to them. You don't have to look at me, okay? Anyway, all jokes aside, I hope these videos are helping you. I just want to make it easy to understand how to use a book. Sometimes this is not explained by a teacher in class, or little things that I'm explaining, they might not cover, okay? All good. Table C2. This one covers commercial only. Doesn't cover domestic house or blocks of units, okay? It's all based on commercial. All right, much simpler to follow a little bit. There's only 2 columns, all right, and they cover the descriptions of what they say across the top. We don't have a big variety and all that. So column 2 covers residential institutions, hotels, boarding houses, hospitals, accommodation houses and motels. I put that down to, if you read all those things they're talking about, we actually don't create or do any work in that situation or work environment. If we look at factories, shops, stores, offices, businesses, premises, schools and churches, which I'm not saying we work there, but they're all places of employment. So there is a bit of a difference between the two of them, but at the end of the day, whatever the question says, if it's a hotel or it's a factory or a school, whatever, we just pick the appropriate column, okay? So the way the load groups go down is they work on we'll have a look at lighting. Let's start at A. I'll just go through, look, it's going to take me 10 minutes to go through the whole lot, and we're going to see the difference in them. So lighting groups, lighting, so in column 2, it's 75% of connected load. Full connected load for basically factories and stores and places like that, which might have the lights on all the time, where column 2, the places have got them on for a partial amount of time, so we don't need to have them on as 100%. B1 and B2. This is a one where if you're doing maximum demand questions, you can come undone big time. I have a lot of problems with this in kids understanding. So basically, let's read the descriptions in the load groups, and I'll give you the definition of how I explain it to my kids. Socket outlets not exceeding 10 amps, but other than those in B1 or B2. B2, socket outlets not exceeding 10 amps in buildings or portions of buildings provided with permanently installed heating and cooling equipment or both. So basically, B1, right, is no air conditioning. B2 is with air conditioning, all right? And when we have a look at the load groups, B1, all right, this is for column 2, 1,000 watts for the first outlet and 400 watts for each additional outlet. B2, 1,000 watts for each the first outlet and 100 watts for each additional outlet. So the difference between B1 and B2 is you've got 400 watts per outlet if you've got no air conditioning, and 100 watts for each outlet after the first 1,000 watts in B2 when you've got air conditioning. That can make a big difference on what you're doing with current fall and current output. When you look at the same with the factories and all that, 1,000 watts for the first one, 750 for each outlet after that. The 100 watts still applies across B2, which covers both columns, but there is a difference between B1 in columns 2 and columns 3. 400 watts for column 2, 750 for column 3. So if you don't get your head around that, the 1,000 watts for the first outlet. So for example, if I've got 30 outlets, I divide that by 3. Now if it's a three-phase outlets, I don't have to divide. You've got to remember, everything in commercial, if it's already three-phase, it's red, white, blue. So if motors and three-phase outlets are already based a loading on each phase, 15 amps on each phase, if it's a 15 amp motor. If it's a single phase outlets, and I've got 30 of them, I divide it by 3, okay? Then I get my number, so 30 divided by 3 is 10 per phase. It's 1,000 watts for the first outlet, and 9 times, depends if it's 400 or 750 or 100, times that after that. It has to apply the 1,000 watts for each phase. So if I'm doing a 3-phase outlet, well, the first 3-phase outlet's already going to have the 1,000 watts, and then it's whatever wattage after that for each 3-phase outlet after that. 3-phase outlets usually go first if we've got single phase and 3-phase. We normally put all the 3-phase first, because the idea is 3 phases automatically balancing across the 3 phases. Then we start doing our dividing by 3 for the single phase stuff after that. All right. So if we have a look at the socket outlets, try to make that simple to understand. If it's a little bit more, give me some feedback and I'll try to give you a bit more explanation. Number C, appliances, sorry, B3, anything exceeding, socket outlets exceeding 10 amps. So in table C1, they just gave us a flat 10 amps for 15s and flat 15 amp for 20 amp outlets. Here, it's a bit different. They want the full current rating. So this is in column 2, the full current rating of the highest socket outlet plus 50% of the remainder. If I've got 4 15 amp outlets, it's 15 amps for the first one, and then 15 times the 3 times 50% for the remainder. Okay, that's how they're doing it. Column 3 the same. They do the full current rating of the highest and then 75% of the remainder. There's a bit of a difference. So you'll find that some columns will have 100%, 75% and 50%. You need to read that and take that into account. So if you've got the highest loaded rated outlet will be always 100%. Whatever you got after that, you'll have to times by the percentage of the remainder. All right, column C is appliances for cooking, heating, including instantaneous water heaters, but not appliances included in load group C. C doesn't cover storage hot water services. They are in load group G. They cover instantaneous hot water services, all right, but don't cover storage hot water services. They're in G. We have to have a look at them. All right, so full connected load plus 50% full of the full remainder. Most places you're only going to have one hot water service, but if you happen to have 3 of them, then like it says, full connected load for the highest one and 50% for the remainder. Same thing, column 3 does 75% and full connected load. All right, charging equipment associated with electric vehicles. Never used to be in here. It's only popped in now in this new book because electric vehicles are coming. You will also find a lot of stuff about charging stations and all sorts of things. Never saw it 10 years ago. Now, big factor. All right. So BC2 to do with charging equipment of electric vehicles. I'm starting to see these pop up everywhere. I probably saw 5 charging stations in the last 2 months being put in and installed. Lifts again. Lifts coming a lot into commercial buildings. 125% for the largest lift. That you got to be careful when you're doing your equation. It's the current times 0.125 and then equals. All right. When we did percentage before, it would always be 0.75, 0.859. Here you got to go 1.25 because it's 100% plus 25% over that again. Then you got 75% and 50%. All right. You got to make sure you look at that. Same with motors. All right. If you've got 3 motors, it'll be 100%, 75% and 50%. You've got to make sure you understand how they're going, especially like 3-phase motors. We don't divide by 3 or anything. If it's already 3-phase, it's 100% across each phase. All right. Fueling dispensing units, well, we don't come across much of those. They're very straightforward. Heating elements associated with thermal. This is for G. Thermal storage heaters, including water heaters, space heaters, such arrangements in swimming pools, spas and saunas. So to me, including a water heater or storage heater, thermal storage heater is a hot water service. It's just a different way a name of saying it. Table C1, we have a thing called range. Everybody thinks, oh, it's range hood. It's actually an upright stove. The terminology is something we need to get our head around, okay? Welding machines, all right, they're straightforward, and they've got a table separate to it that lays it all out. X-ray equipment and other equipment. So the only thing, one of the footnotes down there too, somebody said to me, if I get a set of lights in A1 and I don't have a load group on them, if you go to the footnote 2A, it talks about 60 watt for incandescent lights. Same in, we mostly use that in table C2 a lot, not so much in table C1 because we've always usually got dividing by set value, or we have got a number of points in here. We have to work out normally the load back to the thing. So if I've got 25 light fittings, it'll be 25 times 60, all right? There are other things in there to do with the ballast as well, fluoros and discharge equipment. When you got fluoros and all that stuff, the ballast is a loss. It has to be included with the lights. So if I've got 36 watt lights times 2 or two of them, plus you need to be careful of the wording on ballast. You can either say 12 watts total losses or 6 watts each or 12 watts each. Each or total are the difference between having them separately or a total value added together. Need to be careful. That has to be added to the lighting load, and then don't forget power factor down the bottom again. Like I said, it's tied to the voltage. So all your wattage is up top, divided by the voltage, which sometimes has a power factor. Doing it on a calculator, make sure you put the voltage and the power factor into brackets, so it times it out. So it times the power factor by the voltage separately, doesn't times the answer by the point value that you've got for your power factor. All right. And also talks about external power points being above 2.3 metres. That's the same in table C1 in footnote 3. And also appliances rated more than 150 watts. So anything above 2.3 metres above the floor can be considered a GPO, but up to 150 watts. All right, so you've got ducted heating in the ceiling. That ain't going to be a lighting point. That's going to be a power point. All right. Okay. Hopefully I've given you some insight. If you've got any more questions, email me, talk to me, whatever you want. I'll be happy to explain stuff as I can. All right. Thank you.